November 5th, 2025. The first 48 hours of the quarantine felt like a held breath. A tense, unnatural quiet settled over Havenport. The panic buying stopped, replaced by an eerie stillness. Families locked themselves in their homes. Businesses were shuttered. The only sounds were the distant, rhythmic rumble of a National Guard generator and the mournful cry of a foghorn out on the bay. It was the quiet of a town waiting for a verdict. Today, the verdict came in. The call came from Brody, his voice tight and strained over the radio. "Aris, I got a situation at the old cannery. One of the infected. My deputy is down." I arrived to a scene of controlled chaos. Mark Rowlands, Brody's deputy, was a good kid, young, earnest, maybe a little naive for the job, but his heart was in the right place. He was on the ground, propped against a rusted wall, his face pale with shock. Brody was kneeling beside him, applying pressure to a ragged, bloody wound on his forearm. A few feet away, the infected man, a fisherman I recognized but couldn't name, was already subdued, face down and zip-tied. We got Mark back to the clinic. The bite was deep, right through the meat of his forearm. As I cleaned and sutured the wound, the three of us were silent. We all knew what the bite meant. There was no protocol for this, no post-exposure prophylaxis that could touch this new strain. We were just going through the motions. An hour later, Mark started shivering, not from the cold, but from the inside out. He refused the water I offered him, his eyes wide with a dawning terror. He knew. He looked past me, his gaze locking on Brody, who stood like a statue in the corner of the room. Mark's voice was steady, but it was the steadiness of a man standing on a gallows. "Sheriff," he said, and the formal title hung in the air, heavy as a shroud. "You know what happens next. I seen it. I won't become one of them." Brody just stared, his face unreadable. "You have to promise me, sir, before I turn, before I'm not me anymore. You have to put me down. It's the last thing I'll ever ask of you." I left them then. A sheriff and his deputy, locked in a conversation no two men should ever have to endure. I sit in my office now, listening to the muffled sounds from the examination room. The quarantine was supposed to be a wall to keep the monster out, but the monster was already inside. We didn't build a fortress. We just locked the door to a slaughterhouse.
My analysis of this is ongoing, but your perspective is a huge part of this project. The best way for you to log your reaction is to hit the like button. It's a simple, binary piece of data for me, but it's incredibly useful. And I'm genuinely curious about your theories. What did you feel? Please, post your thoughts in the comments. I am processing all of them. If you want to stay on this feed and continue this experiment with me, be sure to subscribe to Static Drip and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next.